It's February 9, 2023. My name is Jimmy Van, and this is KYN Live. My guest says she loves talking with her hands. Apparently, she cooks one hell of a Christmas dinner, and she couldn't wait to turn 30. You don't hear that very often. She is a published author. She is a podcaster. She is a former and maybe future professional wrestler. We'll see. This is Taeler Hendrix. Taeler, how are you?
Very good, Jimmy. Thank you so much for that marvelous introduction.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to actually meet you. We were talking off the air. Taeler used to write for Fightful magazine. And so every week she would send me the articles and we would correspond, but we never actually kind of met face to face. So
yeah,
this is going to be fun. All right. Well, this is what's going to happen. We're going to talk to KYN 7 of the top news stories of the week that are stupid, funny, or weird. I'm going to get your reactions and I'll ask you questions along the way. And guys, get in your super chats to get your question or statement right on the air. If you don't want to donate through YouTube, or if you can't catch the show live, go to kynchat.com, leave a question or statement anytime you want, and we will read it on the air. And Taeler, I feel like a broken record saying this. Every week, 7 stories, absolutely absurd, completely real, and never ending.
All right, guys, this is going to be my legit first reaction because I have no idea what these 7 stories are. So this will be really funny. And I feel like in 2023, none of these are going to be on my bingo card. So let's go.
Very possible. And I love it because the other day, remember you said to me on Twitter, you said, what's the topic? And I said, I can't tell you, but it's stupid stuff. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said.
All right. Let's start with story number 7, reported by Indy100.com. All right.
Okay.
There is a sheriff in Brevard, Florida. The guy's name is Wayne Ivey. And every week on Facebook, he would post a video of a game that he calls Wheel of Fugitive, where he spins a wheel and it lands on a specific person. And then he would spotlight them and kind of talk about their background and basically try to arrest them. The sheriff has gotten into some trouble, though. Taeler, why do you think Sheriff Ivey got in trouble?
Not vetting his information or publicly posting about these people without their permission, which is technically a crime.
You're right along the right track. So it turns out some of the people that he featured his videos were not actually fugitives. We have a clip. Here's a clip from one of his shows. Look at this while I talk over it. So there is the sheriff. There is the wheel. There's a guy named David Austin Gay that was featured in those videos between January and February of 2021. He says that at the time that he was featured, either he had already been arrested and was in jail, he was out on probation, or he'd already been released. And so he was wrongfully branded a fugitive. He says because he appeared on that show, it cost him his job and it impacted his mental health. And so he's going to sue now the sheriff. What do you think of Wheel of Fugitive? Do you think, like you just said, do you think maybe more due diligence is required?
Oh, well, obviously, yes. I mean, we're living in the digital age. I mean, one wrong thing could, totally ruin your life or your families or whatever. So yeah, that's a costly mistake, Jimmy.
It is. So for every story that we do, I try to ask a question somehow related to it.
Okay.
And so my question for you for this one is, and I know that you are a well-read person, and so you're going to have an answer for this. If you could be a contestant on any game show, what would it be and why?
Oh, okay. I used to love watching game shows. I watched all those 70s and 60s ones with my grandma. Oh, and my mom. Oh my gosh. Okay. I would probably want to be on Match Game or Press Your Luck. I love No Whammy, Stop. I love those.
Do you know the story on Press Your Luck? Do you know the story on that?
I know there was one guy that they tried to come up with this conspiracy theory because he was able to crack the algorithm of the little beeper thing that goes around in the patterns. And so they did this documentary trying to make him out to be like the next Unabomber sort of thing.
Yeah. So he didn't do anything illegal, but he remember back in the day they had VHS tapes.
Yes.
He recorded the show on VHS and he kept on watching it and he spotted the pattern. And so every single bid was 5,000 in a spin, 5,000 in a spin, 5,000 spin. And he basically took the show for a bunch of money, but he didn't do anything illegal.
No, but they tried to make it out as such, which is utterly ridiculous. I mean, if taping and studying something was a crime, then almost every wrestler that is passionate about their craft would be guilty of that crime. I mean, I taped so many Raw, SmackDown, Confidential, Velocity, and Heat onto VHSs to study. Utterly ridiculous.
Very good wrestling comparison. When are we getting back in the ring?
Oh, you know, possibly soon. I don't want to give anything away. I am recovering from surgery pretty well, so I'm excited. Yeah, you know, just being happy.
All right. Reminder, guys, getting your super chat, have your question or statement read on the air. If you can't catch the show live, go to kynchat.com, leave a question or statement anytime you want, and we'll read it on the next show. All right, let's move on to story number 6.
All right, bring it.
This was posted on Twitter. So at a 7-Eleven store in Malaysia, a customer named Ashraf Shak, he walked into this 7-Eleven and he saw the staff there cleaning up the place and they're mopping the floor, which is good, right? I mean, you want to keep the place clean. There was a problem though. Taylor, what happened?
Did he slip and fall because there was not like a little placard sign that said wet floor? That's where I feel like you were going with that. I don't know.
That's a good guess. So that 7-Eleven employee, he opened up the microwave, he stuck the dirty mop in there, and he decided to clean the microwave with it. And we have pics, courtesy as Ashraf Shak on Twitter. Look at this. There's the guy with the mop. There's the microwave. Opens it up. He's got the mop in his hand. And there he goes.
Ooh, yes. That is not hygienic.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the public one that everybody uses too.
Oh, think the next time before you want one of those hot dogs.
What do you think? Do you think, hey, the guy was just multitasking?
Well, here's the thing. There's actually a life hack that you can do to extend the life and save money, extend the life of your sponges for your kitchen. What you do, you know, when they get all like gross and full of bacteria and smelly and it's disgusting and it like gets on your hands. Well, you put a little bit of water in it and you put the sponge in the microwave for about 45 seconds to a minute. It's super hot, so don't touch it. But it basically like steams a lot of the bacteria out. And then you have a sponge that doesn't smell as bad and it kind of extends the life. So I feel like that's what he might have been going for. But just wrong. Just no. Just don't. No.
Now, does it kill the bacteria, or does the bacteria end up in the microwave?
I don't think so, because I think the bacteria danger zone is 41 degrees to Fahrenheit to 100 and something. So if you were steaming the water, steam is hotter than fire. I learned that with a wrestling injury that I got. And I did not know that prior. And so I think that's what happens is the steam, because it's hotter than fire, it kills a lot of the bacteria. I could be wrong. I'm not a scientist, but I do know the danger zone for that is 41 degrees Fahrenheit to 100 and something degrees Fahrenheit.
See, this is an educational podcast. That's what this is. All right, let's go on to story number 5, reported by KIRO7 News. Okay, this is good too. So there's a 30-year-old man in Tacoma, Washington. He was driving a stolen car. Of course he was. He pulled up to a house in the stolen car. Then he tried to funnel gasoline from another car into his stolen car. But he ran into a problem though, Taylor. What happened with the suspect?
Was it an off-duty police person's car? So it was an unmarked car? I don't know.
That's not a bad guess. So he decided to smoke a cigarette while he was siphoning gas.
Oh no.
The gas caught fire, caused an explosion, destroyed the victim's car, and damaged the side of the house. Here is the Crime Stoppers notice that the Tacoma Police Department put up. And they made sure to highlight, and it's kind of hard to see there, but they made sure to highlight the fact that he was smoking a cigarette at the time that he was siphoning gas. Now, thanks to a tip from a member of the community, they were able to identify this guy and arrest him. And he faces charges for first-degree arson, second-degree arson, and possession of a stolen motor vehicle. What do you think? Did this guy like skip class the day that they told you that gas is flammable?
I mean, I guess that's what they mean when they say common sense is not very common.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I guess like intelligence and crime do not necessarily go hand in hand in this one. He was definitely doing untoward things during class.
Yes. Most of the people we talk about on this podcast are not worldly scholars. That's just
That's
how
an
it is.
understatement. That is an understatement.
All right. So question for you on this one. And you've been in wrestling, you've been on the road. So this is a good question for you. Have you ever ran out of gas on the road or had a really close call?
In wrestling, no,
Or
thankfully.
Just in general.
I think in general, I did.
You did?
Yes, I was driving through a tropical storm. This tropical storm hit the East Coast early. It was September of 2011. I was moving from New England to OVW, and I decided to take the no toll route, which I do not recommend. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. You end up in places where you do not want to knock on someone's door if you're lost. You'll get that.
One of those.
Yeah, it was very awful, and the tropical storm flooded out major highways up and down the eastern coast, in Philly, in Pennsylvania and West Virginia and Ohio and New Jersey and New York area. It was so bad, and I ended up sleeping in a gas station in my car with my cat, and we were low on gas, and so I didn't keep my car on. And what I didn't realize was something else was like on in my car, and so not only did I almost run out of gas, I also ended up my car broke down.
Oh, you killed the battery.
Yeah, it was something to do with the connection between the battery and something to do with my alternator. And so I ended up getting towed in the wrong direction and had to get my alternator replaced, even though the alternator was only a couple months old. And while they were towing me, they told me I had just about run out of gas. I will never forget that ever.
Hey, you got quality time with your cat. That's not so bad.
You know what? We lived in that car. We were definitely very close.
I guess you would have been. Yeah. All right, let's go to story number 4, reported by the South China Morning Post. All right, check this one out. There is a food blogger in China. She goes by the name TZ, and she's known for posting videos where she eats exotic meat, like crocodile or ostrich and stuff like that. In April of 2022, she posted one of her videos, and she got a lot of heat over it. She ended up getting fined $18,500 from the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs in China because of this video. And so, Taylor, what did she do in the video?
Did she eat something that was endangered? That's the only thing I can think.
She bought a great white shark off Alibaba, cooked it, and ate it. And we have a clip courtesy of Taste Food 53 on TikTok. Look at this. So she claims that she bought the shark legally and that it was bred in captivity, but the Chinese government felt differently because great whites are a protected species in China. So they fined her. Look at this here. Look at that. And look at what she does. Because, of course, look at unbelievable. They fined her. They also identified and arrested the people that sold her the shark. Look at that. It's all about the views and follows, right? All about the views and follows.
Why did she turn into like It the Clown? Like in that last part of, like, anybody else notice that? Like, what? What is that? Oh my gosh, that video makes me angry and sad. Sharks are one of my favorite ocean animals. I am from Massachusetts, so I grew up right on the beach, and we used to find shark teeth all the time. Oh, yeah. It was just awesome. I mean, Cape Cod is filled with a great white's favorite food, seals. So that makes me so mad. Like seeing somebody, okay, I'm mad. That is my reaction. I am mad.
Yep. All for the views and follows, because that's all that these people care about. So my question for you, what is the most exotic kind of meat or food that you have ever eaten?
Oh, gosh. I don't know what the most exotic food I've eaten. I know the most exotic food that I saw cooked when I was little that I will not eat.
And what was that?
Okay, so I grew up, I have a big part of my family is Portuguese, so we grew up with a lot of Portuguese food growing up, and my aunt, who's from Portugal, she made this casserole. I was about 4 years old, right? And Little Mermaid was one of my favorite Disney movies, one of, not the favorite, and she cooked this octopus casserole with like this tentacle sticking out of the casserole, and I was terrified. I was like, ah, you killed Ursula! And I like running and wanted to call my mom and go home, because I legit, I was 4 and I thought she killed Ursula. So I will never eat octopus till the day I die.
Now, wouldn't that make her a superhero? Like she'd be like the hero. She killed Ursula.
Yeah, but you're 4. You're not really, rationalizing how the world works yet. You know what I mean?
Very fair. Very fair. All right, let's go to story number 3.
All right.
Reported by the Daily Star. Now I got to tell you, I'm calling bullshit on this one.
Okay.
But I want to get your thoughts on it though. So
okay.
there's a 24-year-old woman in Ontario, Canada. Her name is Renee. She was leaving her apartment and she realized that she didn't have her car keys on her. Her friend was behind her and she said, "Hey, do me a favor, grab my keys and toss them to me." So her friend grabs her car keys, tosses them to her. Something went wrong though. What do you think happened, Taylor?
Did the keys go into her eye?
You're very close. So the friend threw the keys so hard that the fob got lodged in her face, and we got pics. Look at this. Look at that right there. An ambulance was called. They said doctors were amazed by this fluke accident. And of course, Renee is documenting the whole thing on TikTok because of course she is. Luckily, she was left without a scar and she's fully recovered. I'm wondering, was this whole thing a setup for social media? Like, how hard you got to throw that fob to get that thing stuck in your cheekbone like that? Like, what do you think?
I'm calling it. That sounds like a plea to be famous. That's what that seems like. You know, anything for the likes, because of course we can't have real self-esteem. It all has to be superficial on the likes and the comments.
I completely agree. Yes, and to think she'd go the extra mile and really jam it in there. But I agree. I think that was set up, but that's what happened. So now this is going to be a question where your wrestling instincts are going to kick in to answer this question.
Okay.
So we'll see if you have an answer that's not related to wrestling. Have you ever thrown something at someone or had somebody throw something at you and it led to damage or injury that was kind of not intended?
Oh yeah, I'm a varsity softball player. I was a big jock, so I played all kinds of sports and I've had all kinds of injuries from those. I remember I hit a ball so hard off the pitching machine and I was an idiot and I looked up and the ball came crashing into my face. You couldn't see it because the sun, and it bashed my 2 front teeth in through my bottom lip and out the other side. And I was like, woo! Like that, like I could not, like my teeth were stuck in through my lip. And then here comes my mother, Mama Hendrix, running onto the field, and the badass that she is, like, like it's wartime on the battlefield, yanks my lip out from my teeth. And so to this day, I have the ridge of my teeth, like right here under my lip.
How old were you?
Probably about 10.
Wow, really?
9, 10. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, something like that. It was before they required the cages on the front of the softball helmet. So OG right there.
Wow, that was like your Mick Foley Hell in a Cell moment, kind of.
Yeah, a couple years after that injury, I actually met Mick Foley for the first time. So yeah, I mean that comparison actually works out perfectly.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right, final reminder, get into your super chats to request your statement right on the air, or go to kynchat.com, leave a contribution anytime, and we'll read your question or statement on the next show. We're whipping right through these, Taylor. It's time for story number 2. This was reported by the Washington Post. This one is very stereotypically American. That's all I'm going to say about this one. And I guess that's easy for me to say as a Canadian. So Corey Mills is a newly elected member of Congress for the state of Florida. He decided to give a gift to other members of the House, and it's a bit of a head scratcher, this gift that he decided to give them. Taylor, what did Mr. Mills give to members of the House?
A copy of the Constitution of the United States.
That would have been better. So he gave them all a nice letter with nice letterhead on it and everything. And with that letter, he gave each one of them a grenade. And we have a picture courtesy of Morgan from the Daily Mail. Look at this. This is real. So Mills said that he is honored to be a part of the Armed Services and Foreign Affairs committees. And he said that in that spirit, he was given all of them a 40-millimeter grenade that is made for an MK-19 grenade launcher. He says they were manufactured in Florida and they were first developed for the Vietnam War. Fortunately, he said that they won't explode. They're inert. Why, for the love of God, would you give out weapons to people that were designed to kill people in a war?
Oh, God. Who was the sounding board? I have questions. I have questions. Who was the sounding board for this? Like, who goes, oh, I'm going to give you Vietnam paraphernalia, as if that wasn't already an American disaster of epic proportions with war tactics and underestimating your opponent. But hey, I am so happy to be a part of the in crowd, everybody. Here, have this inappropriate gift. Like, I don't... Oh, I have questions.
The only thing I can think of is like the guys representing the state of Florida, and I would say 90% of the time the stories on this thing are related to the state of Florida.
Well, I believe it. I believe it. I mean, after all that nursing school, the 3 nursing school scandal, handing out all of those fake diplomas, I mean, I'll believe almost anything. But I don't know. That just sounds like a New Hampshire thing where their motto is "live free or die," not a Florida. I have questions.
I think in Florida they just say "fuck everything up." That's what they say in Florida. That's how it is. All right. So my question for you: have you ever received a gift that was given to you with good intentions, but it had absolutely the wrong effect?
I don't know. That is a good one. I don't think I have ever been asked that question before, Jimmy. What about you?
I'm here to help. I'm here to help. See, I thought maybe, you know, I don't want to get stereotype the word. I don't want to get stereotypical with, you know, you being a pretty girl on the internet, you know, how people might want to send you stuff. And so I just didn't know.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. There was a fan one time, and I use that term loosely for this particular individual. Other than that, I absolutely adore my fans. I think I have the best fan base in wrestling. They're so savage and loyal and unique and awesome. But besides the point, this person decided to somehow find my address, which is creepy in and of itself. And they sent me like lingerie.
Wow, really?
I just forgot about that. I think I blocked that out. Yeah. And so that's why I tell girls that I don't think they listen, but yeah, don't have wish lists. Don't. Because if you have something on your Amazon wish list and you're advertising that to the public and you're not paying attention, they give out your address, because if you pick something on your wish list that is from a third-party seller, they will give the address to the person buying it.
Are you kidding?
If they so choose. I am not kidding with you. I am not kidding. I found that out a long time ago. Yeah. And I still to this day, I see like girls in wrestling, besides doing whatever else that they're doing, like Lord only knows, but then they also advertise wish list and buy me stuff, but they don't realize the consequences.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of a wish list if they're letting complete strangers get access to your address?
Yeah, and it's like a whole third-party seller sort of thing, so it's not exactly Amazon. But yeah, that's why reading the fine print, that Family Guy joke where they accept the terms and conditions without reading it, and then Quagmire gets punched in the face. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but more like American Psycho.
That's the worst one I can think of is my wife was trying to figure out how do I make his Christmas stocking look full, and so my wife bought a bunch of deodorant. At Christmas morning, taking deodorant, and I look at her and I go, "Are you trying to tell me something?" And she said, "I was trying to figure out how to make your stocking look full, but I didn't take it that way. I took it like she thought I needed deodorant or more deodorant." I guess.
Well, you know what? You're just stocking up, so now you don't have to, spend an inflated money, and now you got it. Silver lining.
I'm glad you found a positive spin for that one. That's good. All right, it is time for story number one already. I wish I had 10 of these. Story number one, reported by BBC News. Okay. There is a bird conservation charity. It's called the BTO, or the British Trust for Ornithology. And they say that they were locked out of their Twitter account for 8 days, right when a big event was happening in that world that they call the Big Garden Bird Watch. My question for you is, why did this bird conservation charity get booted out of their Twitter?
That event, I know that you said they're in the same realm as that conservation trust, but are they on opposite ends of that world? Because that to me would be a good reason for that. Probably, similarly to how like PETA and the opposite, they kind of conflict. I'm wondering if it's one of those kind of issues.
So do you think that like the other like the Birdwatch thing got them locked out? Do you think they like complained about them or something?
Well, possibly, right? Or was their account just simply targeted like some accounts have been I don't know. I'm stumped on this one.
So the reason that bird conservation charity got their account locked on Twitter is because they posted tweets about the breeding of the woodcock. And we have a picture of one of the tweets. So apparently the repeated use of the word woodcock was too much for Twitter, for the Twitter algorithm. They thought that it was offensive. And so for that reason, they blocked their Twitter account. Fortunately, they were able to get it restored. And the irony with this is that the Twitter logo is a freaking bird, but that didn't seem to matter because they got blocked out for saying woodcock. So I don't know. What do you think about this? Do you like birds, Taylor? Were you checking out the bird conservation charity Twitter account?
Just now. I mean, how? Wait. So an actual breed of a bird is offensive, but men just trying to innocently help women at the gym and getting just destroyed on social media is not offensive. Like, what kind of world are we living in where literal reality we have woodcocks, blue tits is a bird? Like, I mean, it's not their fault that they, like, humans named them as such. Yeah. But that's offensive. But
yeah. And like they had like a cam set up because they were watching like the breeding of the birds and like the feeding of the babies and all that kind of stuff. But because they kept saying woodcock, Twitter was like, that's enough. That's enough. I
can't in a world where everybody's feelings has to be validated, this is what tips the scale.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't. I can't. Like, no wonder why you said insane, stupid, and ridiculous.
That's what KYN Live is. Yes, it is. All right. My question for you, my last question for you. Okay. Have you ever been blocked, banned, locked out, censored? Had anything happen because you posted something online with completely innocent intentions?
No. I've had like videos on YouTube. Sometimes if like somebody complains or whatever, but that's about it. And like, no, I have not been blocked out.
Good. That's good. So you're not posting about any birds.
No, I am not.
You're not doing anything incredibly graphic and offensive, like posting about birds.
No, don't touch the birds. Do not talk about the
Stay away from the birds.
Are birds Fight Club? Like, it's Fight Club. You can't talk about it.
Yeah, might as well be. All right, I want to thank our guest, Taeler Hendrix. Taeler, tell the people what you're doing and where they can find you.
Oh, thank you so much, Jimmy. This has been wonderful. So you all can find me on Twitter with @Taeler_Hendrix, on Instagram with @Taeler_Hendrix ROH, Ring of Hendrix. I'm sorry they're not the same. There were fake me's on the platform before the real me was, because I'm just not that cool. You can find me on YouTube with youtube.com/Taeler Hendrix. I post all kinds of videos like Motivation Monday, Q&A Wednesdays, where I answer your fan questions, including my podcast every Tuesday with RussosBrand.com, Talks with Taeler Hendrix. And I have books on Amazon. I have 4 children's books. Amazon.com/ebooks. You can type in my name and you will find all 4 of my books. My first book and my 4th book are Amazon Top 100. So I am officially an Amazon Top 100 author. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in and supporting everything I do, and for the opportunity to be on the show today.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, that's going to do it for KYN Live. Tune in next Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time for more silliness that's totally real. Until then, bye for now. Thanks for doing this.